Okay, what we've got today is an algebraic expression. How do we solve for P if we've got an algebraic expression? What's the first thing you're going to do? We're going to plug in, huh? We're going to plug 2 in for R. We're going to plug 7 in for Q. And we're going to do a little PEMDAS, aren't we? 2 times P is 2P. 2 times 7 is 14. 14 plus 2 is 16. Now we'll divide by 2. And P is 8. Okay. Here you have another literal equation. There are no numbers to plug in. They want you to solve for x. What's the first thing we're going to do in this equation if we're going to solve for x? Can we combine these terms? No. They're not like terms. But this term here contains the x, right? This term here does not. So we would move the R to the other side, and it'll go from positive to negative. Again, we're solving for x. R and T are multiplying. So what do I do to remove them? We divide. We're going to divide both sides by R and T. X equals C minus R divided by RT. Okay. We are solving for the variable m. I find the term or terms that contain it. It's right here. This term here does not contain an m, so I move it to the other side. When I move it to the other side, it goes from negative to positive. Now I want to solve for m. These two pieces are multiplying, so they're factors. What do I do to remove them? We divide both sides by 2L. So m equals 5ln plus 3n all over 2L. We're told to solve for m, so find the term that contains it. There's the term that contains the m. This plus c does not contain it, so I move it to the other side. It goes from positive to negative. Again, I'm solving for m. X is multiplying, so I divide both sides by x, and m equals y minus c all over x. We've got a formula. We have the area. We do not have the height. We do have the two base values. So therefore, we've got one value there, a value for B1 and B2. We can solve for H. So we plug in. Area is 245. That's equal to 1/2 times the height times base 1 is 15 and base 2 is 20. Now we'll simplify. 245 equals 1/2 H times 35. Now, if I multiply by 1/2, I'm going to get a decimal. If I multiply both sides by 2, it'll cancel the 1/2 out and keep everything of integer value. So 2 times 245 is going to be 490. The 2 will cancel with the 1/2, and I get 35H. Now I divide by 35. 490 divided by 35 goes once. I get 14, drop that 0, and that's going to go 4 times. Therefore, H equals 14 centimeters. Everything gets plugged in. It said solve for y. Here's y. It's negative. If I move y to the other side, it'll turn what? Positive. Now, all I have to do is subtract 3, and my answer is solved. Y equals 2x minus 3. What do we know about consecutive integers? Say that again? They're one right after the other. That means they differ by how much? By 1. Are we told any of the integers at this point? No. So let's let x equal the first integer. What would the second integer have to be? X plus 1. Then the third one would be x plus 2. Very good. It said that the sum of these 3 is 36. So what do we get when we add those together? 3x plus 3. We now have an equation. We have to solve for x. That will get us our first integer. So what do we do to solve for x? Subtract 3, and we get 33. We divide by 3, and we get 11. Therefore, the first integer is 11. One more would make 12. One more after that would make 13. And we see 11 plus 12 is 24. Twenty-three plus 13 is 36. So we have a correct answer. So what does this problem tell us? We have 2 people, correct? We've got Kennedy and we have Nixon. They tell us that Kennedy has 76 more votes than Nixon. Do we know how many votes Nixon has yet? No. Nixon is X. So how do I write 76 more votes than Nixon? You have to write that X plus 76. You have to switch it. More than or less than, you switch the order. What does the word together mean? You add them up. So 2x plus 76 now equals 506. Now I've got my equation. What do I do to solve that? We're going to subtract 76. So if I subtract 76, we get 430. We then divide by 2, and x equals 2 goes into 4 twice, 2 goes into 3 once with 1 left over, so 2 goes into 10 5 times. Somebody got 215 votes. Who did? Nixon did. Kennedy has 76 more. Therefore, Kennedy has 6 plus 5 is 11. 8 plus 1 is 9. 291 votes. These are adjacent angles. They sit on top of a line. We know that a straight angle is a total of 180 degrees. Since these are adjacent angles and they are sitting on a straight line, 8x plus 3 plus 5x plus 8 has to equal 180. Now we combine our like terms. What do we get when we combine our like terms? 8x plus 5x is 13x. 3 plus 8 is 11. And that still equals 180. Now I want to solve my equation. What's my first step? Subtract 11 from both sides. 13x equals 169. I divide that by 13, and x equals 13. We were told to find the measure of the first angle, 5x plus 8, so I have to plug the 13 in. 5 plus 13 is 65. 65 plus 8 is 73 degrees. I was also told to find the second angle. It's 8x plus 3. Plug in the 13. 8 times 13 is 104. Plus 3 is 107 degrees. And we also notice, if we were to add them, we get a total of 180 degrees. What do we know about the sum of the angles in a triangle? They equal 180 degrees. So the first angle plus the measure of the second angle plus the measure of the third angle have to equal 180 degrees. So I substitute all the values in. 3x plus 30, x plus 10, and 2x plus 20 are all going to add up and equal 180. What's my next step? Combine all the like terms. 3x plus x is 4x. 4x plus 2x is 6x. 30 plus 10 is 40. 40 plus 20 is 60. Now I want to solve my equation. So I move the 60 to the other side. I subtract it, and I get 120. I divide by 6, and I get 20 for a value. It wants to know what are the measures of each of the three angles. The first one is 3x plus 30. So 3 times 20 plus 30. 60 plus 30 is 90 degrees. Therefore, I then go and find the second angle. That one is x plus 10. So 20 plus 10 is 30. So a bunch of you are saying that it's a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Our third angle is 2x plus 20. We'll plug the value of 20 into that. 40 plus 20 is 60 degrees. So you are correct. It is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. We have a ratio. And as we know, with a ratio, that is a fraction. I've got 9 feet on the top. I've got 42 inches on the bottom. And I've got a problem here. My two labels must be the same. So I need to convert. Which one am I going to convert to? Am I going to convert feet to inches? Or am I going to convert inches to feet? Why? Why am I going to convert feet to inches? There's 12 inches in every foot, and 42 is not divisible by 12. So I'll take 9 times 12. That's 108 inches. Now I put that over top of 42 inches. Now we need a common factor, correct? We could use 2 to make the number smaller, correct? So if I divide both numbers by 2, I get 54, the inches are going to cancel, all over 21. Now both numbers are divisible by 3. 3 goes into 54 18 times. 3 goes into 21 7 times. This is a ratio. I either leave it improper or I leave it proper. The answer is 18 over 7. Here we see we have another example of a ratio that does not have common units. We know that 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. Does 16 divide completely into 20? No, we have remainder. Therefore, we will take this 2 pounds, we'll multiply that by 16, and that gives us 32 ounces. So my ratio can now be written as a fraction, 20 ounces over 32 ounces. The ounces cancel. We need a common factor of 20 and 32. What will that be? Can we use 4? Yeah. 4 times 5? 4 times 8. Both of these numbers are divisible by 4. Here we have a fraction equal to a fraction. This is called a proportion. How do we solve a proportion? We solve a proportion by cross multiplying. Therefore, 14 times m plus 15 equals 5 times m minus 12. 14 times m is 14m plus 14 times 15 is 5 times 14 is 70. 1 times 14 is 14. We get 210 equals, again we're distributing, so 5m minus 60. Now I got to gather my terms. I'm going to subtract 5m to both sides. I get 9m. I'm going to subtract 210 to both sides. Since they both will have negative signs on them, I add, and I get negative 270. I divide by 9, and m is negative 30. We've got another proportion. We're going to set this up to multiply. Before I multiply 25 and 9, I noticed that 15 has two factors that are common to 25 and to 9. 15 is 5 times 3. That's still 15. That'll cancel. This 5 just went into 25 5 times. That 3 went into 9 3 times. X equals 15. 5 times 3. Sometimes you can use that trick to make your calculations easier to do. Here I have another proportion, but before I start doing cross products, I noticed that that fraction can simplify. 40 over 10 is the same as 4 over 1. Now my products just got a lot simpler, and my numbers got a lot smaller. Now I'll cross multiply. 4 times x plus 2 is equal to 20. I can distribute. I get 4x plus 8 equals 20. Subtract my 8, 4x equals 12. And finally, x equals 3. Also, remember one thing. You have a variable in the denominator of your fraction. That means you have a restricted value there. You know in this equation, x cannot equal negative 2. Your answer is not negative 2, so you're able to keep it. If it was, you'd have to say no solution. So I draw my board to represent the 6-foot length. I put in the divider for the two pieces from the ratio of 1 to 5. Do I know what the length of this piece is or the length of that piece? No. All I know is whatever those lengths were in feet simplified to 1 over 5. So I'm going to let x equal the greatest common factor that got simplified out. And that x will be measured in feet. Therefore, this side, or piece, was 1x feet. This side, or piece, was 5x feet. Now I've got an equation where the sum of those two pieces, 1x plus 5x, has to equal 6 feet. I combine my like terms. 6x equals 6. X comes out to 1 foot. Therefore, that first piece is 1 foot. Piece number 2 has to be 5 feet. All right, this is a perimeter problem. Do we know the formula for perimeter of a rectangle? Okay, we have 2 lengths that we have to add up, and we got 2 widths that we have to add up. We know that their lengths were simplified to a fraction of 7 over 6. So that means that my length has to be 7x, and my width has to be 6x. So 14x plus 12x equals 728. 26x equals 7/28. Now I divide by 26. Twenty-six will go into 72 two times. 2 times 26 is 52. I get 208. 26 goes into 208 8 times. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 4 is 20. So 28 was that greatest common factor that got simplified out. So my length is 7 times 28. That's going to be 56. 14 and 5 is 19. 196 yards. My width will be 6 times 28. 6 times 8 is 48. 12 and 4 is 16. So that's going to be 168